Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes. Yesterday, the head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, issued a directive banning cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries from leaving the country. Yes. And in this video, I want us to have a look at the directive, for it's going to form the basis of our analysis and the discussion right now. Before we have a look at the directive, or rather circular, let me say this. Kenyans are really yearning for a government that will arrest this monster called corruption. Any government that will show intent of genuinely fighting corruption, I know Kenyans will support that government. Yes, Kenyans will support that government. And the reason is simple. According to Auditor General's report, Kenya loses about a third of its annual budget to corruption. In a budget of 3 trillion, 1 trillion disappears into the pockets of leaders. 1 trillion. So any government that can fight or rather arrest this scourge, Kenyans most likely will support that regime. The former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, he did his best. And I know he had his strengths and his weaknesses. One weakness of Uhuru Kenyatta's regime is that they publicized corruption. They were just fighting corruption in the media. And at the end of it, nothing tangible was coming from it. So it reinforced the notion that they were just playing politics. They were mentioning names in public, but at the end of the day, there was nothing coming out of it. So let's have a look at the circular by Joseph Kinyua yesterday, after which we are going to dissect it to see what it means politically. Yes. Executive Office of the President, Head of the Public Service. Confidential, State House. It's a very long letter, a letter that I don't think we'll go through the whole of it. I just want us to have a look at the areas I feel are relevant for our discussion and analysis right now. This letter is meant for cabinet secretaries, ministries, state departments, and state agencies. Let's jump to number 5. Foreign travel by cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries is further suspended unless as sanctioned by the head of state and government. Please proceed and take appropriate as directed. Joseph Kinyua. Copy to Davis Chirchir, Chief of Staff, Executive Office of the President, Nairobi. Dr. Kennedy Kihara, Principal Administrative Secretary and Assistant Secretary to the Cabinet Executive Office of the President, Nairobi. This letter is just banning principal secretaries, cabinet secretaries, and top government officials from leaving the country. And the letter is also banning some amounts. Let me read for you. Ministries, state departments, and state agencies shall not effect payment exceeding Kenya shillings 50 million without the prior approval of and verification by the National Treasury. Yes, that's the letter. And what caught my attention from that long letter is the directive that cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries, top government officials, should not leave the country. That's what I want us to dissect in this video, to see the aim of that and the games being played here. Considering the fact that Uhuru Kenyatta's fight against corruption was largely compromised or rather thwarted because they were executing that fight in the media. Let's dig deep to see what this letter means politically. If you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Yes. That circular and letter has got only two objectives. The first objective, the circular is meant to intimidate and to threaten leaders in government who served under Uhuru Kenyatta. That's the main aim and intention of that letter. Ruto's administration is trying to intimidate and in one way revenge towards those who served in Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. And then the second aim and objective of that letter is meant to create a perception that some people looted the government and they are just about to flee or rather to leave the country. They looted the government, so they want to run away. And Ruto's government is now blocking them from running away. I believe those are the two aims and objectives of that letter. The question begs, is William Ruto ready to fight corruption? Because that's what Kenyans want. If Ruto can effectively fight corruption, I'm sure Kenyans will support him. Kenyans will support William Ruto. If he truly fights corruption, Kenyans will rally behind him because that's what Kenyans want. Uhuru Kenyatta tried, but he failed in that they were just executing the fight against corruption in the media. At the end of it, nothing tangible was coming out of it. And I'm seeing William Ruto most likely repeating the same mistake. And I know it's not too late. William Ruto can get things right. It's not yet late. And I'm saying William Ruto is repeating the same mistake by Uhuru Kenyatta, or rather, the same mistake Uhuru Kenyatta made because of this. Immediately William Ruto was sworn in, his close associates were saying they only got 93 million Kenya shillings in the treasury. That has been proved to be a lie. And that created a perception that they wanted to loot money, and then they blamed the regime that went. That has been proved to be a lie. And now, secondly, they are issuing this circular banning these cabinet secretaries from traveling abroad to create a perception that those who served with Uhuru Kenyatta are corrupt, they looted public finance and public funds, so they want to run away. That's also just trying to fight the corruption, or rather to fight corruption in the media, in public. At the end of it all, nothing tangible, nothing serious might even come out from it. They'll just talk to Kenyans in public, but Kenyans most likely will not see tangible results out of the fight against corruption. So in my honest opinion, the circular in the first place was not necessary. There was no need of actually publicizing that circular, because I know the circular might have been leaked to the public intentionally. There was no need of leaking that circular to the public. And I'm sure very close Ruto associates are the ones who have most likely leaked out the circular to the public. So Ruto, from the way he has started, he's just going the Uhuru Kenyatta's route, fighting corruption in public, or rather in the media, And at the end of it all, nothing is coming out of it. And as William Ruto now settles in government, fighting corruption should be his major priority. Because in the event he fights corruption, then I believe even the cost of living will be affordable. Kenyans will have the services they want. Because it's corruption that is actually making life hard for a good majority of Kenyans. Ruto should fight corruption. He should not publicize or fight corruption in the media. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. In case you want to have a chat with me, to share information with me, or even to support this channel, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number, or you can channel any contribution or support to the number. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you. God bless you.